Disclaimer. The audio content you are about to consume contains spoilers for Marvel's Infinity War and Game of Thrones First Season, Episodes 1 and 2, and contains material some might not view suitable for a workplace environment. And now, with reservations aside, welcome to the culture.
It's recording fine. It's been recording for the past like 2.5 minutes.
What? All right. Well then.
Well, sorry, 2 minutes 10 seconds.
I'm gonna introduce us then, if that's okay.
Nah.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the first episode of Culture Boys, where we look at popular things and fail to understand what they're trying to tell us. We are your hosts. I am Alex Fogel Fritz.
Damn it.
I am Schmidt, the Brick Wall Smith.
Right on the ball. Yeah.
And Orvis
hi.
more Neanderthal than most.
Colin. That's the other voice you're hearing.
It's been a great weekend, guys.
It has been a pretty good weekend, not gonna lie.
I killed my computer, killed my external hard drive.
I really thought you were gonna say killed my will to live.
Nope, might have a cavity in a tooth because it's been hurting me all day.
You gotta get them super teeth like I do.
You gotta get those
Super teeth?
Super
Did we
teeth.
ever tell you about this?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, well, so I
had
felt like I was
braces
getting
for
some
like
toothaches.
6 years.
No, but listen. So I was like a couple months ago. I was
did
like,
have
man, I
braces.
feel like I'm getting some toothaches. I should go to the dentist. Like, see, haven't been to the dentist in like 5 years. I should go to the dentist.
Jeez.
So I went there, and they're like, well, you haven't been here in so long. We actually have to like remake your file and like redo dental X-rays and all that stuff. So they're doing all that, and they take the X-rays, and I'm go back like, all right, we're gonna meet with a dental hygienist to like discuss like what we want to do to your teeth to get them looking nice again. So I'm sitting in this
When
chair.
were they ever looking nice?
Never, really never.
Their teeth are nice.
They not as good as they could be. Ashley has perfect teeth, by the way. That makes me so mad. So they come back and start looking at my X-rays, and like the guy looks and goes, "Huh," and I immediately go, "That's not a good sign." And he calls all the other guys, like, "Look at this," and the other guy that he called over goes, "Huh," and I go, "What are you guys talking about?" Huh?
It's never good when two dentists say, huh.
And then, so they're talking about like, well, looks like one of your wisdom teeth actually fused with one of your back molars.
I remember this now.
And instead of having like a molar and a wisdom tooth, they actually just became one singular tooth. That's just the size of a wisdom tooth and a molar. And they're like, yeah, if we got to pull that, that's going to be, we're going to have to put you out for that. And I was like, oh boy.
Oh boy.
So it's not bothering me yet. If it ever actually starts to bother me, I'm sure I'll pull out my super tooth and then like make a necklace out of it as living proof that I'm the next step in man's evolution.
You know that's not true. You know it's Ian.
Ian.
The tiny earlobes.
The tiny earlobes.
Tiny earlobe.
Yeah, we say our friend is the next step. Well, I say our friend is the next step because he has tiny earlobes, so he's saving a little bit of blood flow every time his heart beats, which is going to prolong his life by like 45 seconds.
But that's a start.
That's a start.
It's something.
That's where you move on to the next step.
Until
Nature starts somewhere, man.
Until it starts shrinking the head as a whole, and then the brain capacity
and then the
gets
rest
reduced.
of the body just shrink with it, and then you get left with like 3-inch people. And
3-inch people.
Yeah.
Oh, what
Isn't that what supersizing is about?
Speaking of saving on resources, we put the spoiler warning on the front of this, right?
We're gonna have to.
All right.
There's no way to do it. There's no way to talk about this without
To kick off
spoiling
this show, this series,
everybody dies. Everybody dies.
we're gonna talk about Marvel Infinity War, which just came out, and wow.
Let the bodies hit the floor.
I
Everybody.
just want to watch.
Disintegrating to dust. They didn't even hit the floor, most of them.
Yeah.
Except for Loki. Oh, I was actually kind of upset about that at the beginning of the movie.
It doesn't matter. None of it's gonna matter.
Because they're all gonna
It's
live.
all
in the
just
end.
It's gonna take the stopwatch and just go and just go back like 4
Yeah, we
days.
talked about this. They might have written themselves into a corner with the time stone. Like, oh, you said that the time stone now can turn back time to do
Why
whatever
do
you want.
people want to play with time? It's so complicated and difficult to do right.
You sound like Kevin now.
No, Kevin hates time travel. I love time travel. It just can be done very, very wrong.
Well, they're not actually traveling through time. They're
manipulating time around them.
Yeah, that's different.
It's essentially the same thing.
No, it's different.
It's essentially the same thing.
I think it's different.
When you say time travel, you're assuming that you are traveling through time, but time travel can also mean that you are
In
making
Russia,
time travel.
Time travel through you.
Yes, precisely. In Soviet Russia.
No. What'd you guys think of it?
Ba, 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 ba.
10?
Schmidt likes to do these rankings all of a sudden.
Yeah.
No,
I'm not
out of
giving you-
7, 6.7.
All right. I like the arbitrary nature of this. I really do. I'm all about the arbitrary numericals. They're a lot of fun.
6 chili out here.
Yes, it is 6 chili.
Always 6
There's
chili.
always 6
I
chili.
There's the thing I really enjoyed about the movie, and whoever I don't know who directed it, I don't know who wrote it or anything like that. I don't know if it was Josh Whedon.
No, it
or-
was not Joss Whedon,
I didn't
thankfully.
think
If it was
so.
Joss Whedon.
You don't like Josh Whedon?
I like Joss Whedon a lot as a director, not as a person or as a
Not as a
writer.
person?
No, you should look that up later.
Oh, really?
Is he a bad person?
It's not great.
Well, dang.
It's some Andrew and Joe Russo, I think.
The Russo
I
brothers?
think you're
yes,
right.
Yes,
I
the
think
Russo
you're
brothers.
right.
I
I think
remember
you're
watching
exactly
some
right
promotional
about
stuff
this.
for him.
And Joe, let me Google because I have the computer.
Because the power of the internet is the greatest power. That
Russo brothers.
Yeah, I wasn't.
Where would you guess they were born?
Romania.
Russo, Texas?
Wonderful, glorious Cleveland.
Cleveland. Well, that kind of sucks for them.
Yep.
Sorry, boys.
They've done a lot.
Have
Yeah.
they?
Yeah,
What have they done?
they
Never
did.
mind.
They did Infinity War, and they did. They wrapped principal production on Winter Soldier. They
Oh, okay.
directed Civil War. They did the new Ghostbusters. They did Yumi and Dupree. They did the pilot for Arrested Development.
So they've made some bad stuff. The new Ghostbusters.
Yeah, that's
I haven't
true.
seen it. I can't speak on it.
I didn't see it, but I heard that when it first came out, people were like, "Yeah, excited!" But like,
I heard it was okay.
I saw it.
It
And
was
people were
not
like,
great.
"Eh."
It wasn't the worst thing in the world,
Yeah.
but I did like this movie, and whoever wrote it or directed it did a great job with like 4 congruent stories going at once. Like each, like you could have had an entire movie just about like Thor and Rocket Raccoon. Like that could have
Yeah.
been its own movie, or you could add an own movie about like Tony and Doctor Strange and all of them doing their thing. Like each one of these,
but
you
they
could
would've-
stretch out.
They would have
into its
been
own.
really bad.
They would have been bad. I'm not saying they would have been good. You could have put 2 of them in the same movie. You know, like you could
I
put,
think you could have gotten away with having 2 of them be
Yeah.
one film, but
but they did like 4 or 5, and it was really good. You know, for what
Yeah,
it was.
Well,
pretty good.
I know what you guys seem to be thinking like, hey, you know, it was pretty good. I thought it was fantastic.
Yeah.
I no,
I
don't
thought-
get me wrong. I thought it was excellent.
I thought the jokes were funny. I thought the action was amazing. When Spider-Man turned into Ash, it was actually like really, really sad.
That's probably the saddest one.
Yeah, that was well because everyone else is like, whoa, I feel kind of weird. Wee.
Yeah. Well, that's actually kind of, I think, foreshadowing because it wasn't that emotional, and I don't think they wanted to make it that emotional because they're like, well, it's not going to be a thing in the next movie anyways because we're getting rid of all this because, you know, time stuff.
Well, they got to get the stones back.
okay, even if, which I absolutely don't believe is going to be the case because they're absolutely going to do it, but even if they weren't going to reverse everything, the fact of having no emotion for it is just to say how surprising it is. Like, it's not meant to be like everybody's crying because everybody else is dying. It's like, no, this is happening so quickly and it's so unbelievable that anything like this could possibly happen that everybody's supposed to be taken completely aback. But yeah, I don't want to hold on to its permanence because it's just Marvel's not. They're not in the position to be making choices where they kill half of the cast. Like,
Well, maybe they are.
they're not. They won't.
Yeah.
It's not a matter of it would be really cool if they would and then they do. They're not going to. Because it wouldn't be very cool. They have not set it up in a way where it would be good if half the cast is permanently dead. It's not.
What I think is going to happen is you're right. I think they're going to get the time stone, but I think it's not going to work. I think there are going to be some like essentially permanent deaths.
Well, there are going to be some permanent deaths.
like Loki.
Loki's probably anything that happens before Thanos snaps his finger is probably irreversible.
Like
That's
Gamora.
how I'm gonna think. Yeah. Vision, Gamora, Loki are probably all permadeath.
Oh, and that was I will say that was actually pretty cool because like when Vision died,
Uh-huh.
because Scarlet Witch does the whole thing where she
Zaps him,
him and he dies, and then Thanos is like, well, that was clever, but rip. Like literally just ripped his brain clean out.
Schmitty, have you seen Black Panther yet?
Yeah.
Okay.
I haven't. I need
Yes,
to.
you need to, because this movie just makes me want to watch Black Panther again.
Black Panther was really good.
Black Panther's the best.
Yeah.
Very, very easily still the best Marvel film, but
Well,
You like it better than Infinity War?
oh yeah.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I heard
And
that the
really
bad guy
only
was the most
because the
relatable.
strongest part of Infinity War for me was the very end when it plays the Black Panther theme and Thanos sits at the sunset and just watches it. That speaks more than the entire film to me.
Fair enough. Yeah, well, something I really liked about Thanos, and Jordan mentioned this to me yesterday when I was talking to him, that he's pretty relatable.
He shouldn't be though. He's a galactic conqueror.
That's the thing. That's where I have. I'm.
So you're mad because the villain was relatable?
Yes.
No, I mean, I can see where you're coming from, but
Here,
I
I'll get into
also
it, but go ahead and
go
ahead and
I like when they make villains slightly relatable, but thinking of this movie, I kind of wanted him to be like this all-powerful galactic entity that could kill anybody he ever wants to and doesn't really have any emotion about it. Like going into this movie, I was like, I am excited to see the Avengers lose and die. And not that I hate them or anything, but they've always like, yeah, we're the best, we're the Avengers, yeah, let's fight past like everybody. And Thanos is like, fuck you guys.
No, I'm
Like,
gonna get
sorry. It ain't happening this time.
I don't get why Doctor Strange was like, this was the only way.
well,
This was the end game. I mean, it preserved Tony's life, and maybe he thought
it's
that he
because he
couldn't keep
saw
it hidden forever.
14,600,000 or 506 outcomes and only one of them where they win. He knows how to get to the end game.
Oh,
He's the only one who knows how to get
yeah.
to the end game. That's why that happens. He
Unless he
doesn't
told
give
you.
a shit about Tony Stark. He knows that's the only way to win is to make Thanos think he wins or to actually let Thanos win. I don't know where they're going to go exactly with it yet, but no, the issue I have with Thanos, not to get away from this, because this is big onto, I guess, part of my lack of enjoyment, is like, I don't want to say I didn't enjoy it. I thought it was fine, but I think they pushed way too hard to make Thanos try to sound like it's fine to make villains relatable when the outcome they want is in some way, I don't want to say acceptable, but when it's the outcome they're looking for can be some way seen as maybe for some person a good idea.
Well, it is for half the populace.
No, it isn't, because half the populace have just lost everybody they care about.
Well, only half the people they care about.
Maybe not everybody. It's not half of everybody in every context. It's half of people numerically. So half the people could randomly be everybody in your family and everybody you've ever met. And that's still half the
Undeniably true.
population.
Yeah,
It doesn't. It doesn't matter. The point is, by trying to make like, oh, you should feel bad for Thanos because he's losing some people too. It's like, no, that's not comparable. He's making the decision to do it. He's actively choosing to do it. Everybody else isn't actively choosing to let him do it.
I would have to see a Thanos movie. If I could see a Thanos movie about the events that drove him to this, that'd be pretty cool, I think.
I don't think we need to. I don't think we should have to see that, because it's not making him. I don't want to say it's too little, too late, but it's like it is kind of. You can give a little bit, or it's like, okay, well maybe he's not this like one-dimensional emperor of everything, but like making him like this whole thing was like, oh, I'm sad that I'm sacrificing my daughter that I've emotionally and physically abused for the entirety of her existence, but I actually sort of care about her.
Yeah, that
was kind of weird. It's like, yeah, I get why you're trying to make you're trying to make me care about like,
you know what I would have
his feelings.
freaking
It's
loved.
like, you took her from her family, and then
it was only because there was an odd number of people.
and it's
on
like
the planet.
you forget, and you forget like what he did to his actual daughter, and like replaced her body parts with.
Is Nebula I don't think Nebula is his actual daughter.
I think it is.
I have no idea.
I'm pretty sure it is.
Following.
Correct us in the comments.
Yeah, no. I mean, they will anyway.
They will anyway. You can't hold the internet
Nobody's
back.
listening to this.
You never know. We might blow up.
We're not
Yeah,
gonna
okay.
blow up. Anyway, geez, now you've completely derailed everything I was about to say.
Yeah.
Damn it, Schmidt. Okay,
Well, no, don't worry, guys.
No,
They're
hold
not
on.
going to get the time.
Hold
stone.
on.
How they're going to fix this?
Hold on.
They're just going to get the trident of Poseidon to break all the curses.
okay.
All the curses in the sea.
Yeah, like all the curses in the sea, because the space is pretty much the sea.
Yeah.
Kind of the sea.
It's the astral sea.
The sea.
It's the astral sea.
Oh wait, that's something from Dungeons and Dragons.
Yes. Hold up. I'm
Sorry,
working on something.
I really wanted to get that Pirates of the Caribbean goof in there.
Yeah, good deep cut to the episodes nobody will
to
listen
test
to.
episode 1.
Give me a second. I'm almost there.
Keep going.
You talk, and then I'm going to interject as soon as I get it.
So you know Orvis has more Neanderthal DNA in him than like 80% of the human population.
73.
73.
No, I'm in the top 73rd percentile for Neanderthal, which is actually terrifying. But
Wait, you're not joking about that?
No,
I can show you.
That's why I said
I thought that was just a
he's
joke.
literally more Neanderthal than most.
I can show you the 23andMe.
Are you kidding? Oh my god.
downstairs.
Awesome.
They said it to you, it was just a bunch of like cave paintings. Like, this is the language of your people.
Oh, that's a good goof. That's a good, solid goof. No, they sent it to me in a fucking packet. I just sent everybody else the 23andMe data.
Oh my god.
Oh, that's my favorite thing. Okay.
Keep going. I'm going to get there. I know my Neanderthal brain is a little slower than your Homo sapien brain, but you know what the funniest part to me about that is too?
What?
Is like literally my dad is less. It's numerically impossible.
No, it's possible. They just have different Neanderthal DNA than like them combined, and it made you.
Yeah, I've combined the most Neanderthal out of my parents. I'm so happy.
The most Neanderthal traits. We could use Orvis as like a case study to try and
I'm
understand.
the missing link.
You're the step between ape and human.
Orvis.
Orvis.
So I gotta say, the other thing Orvis did that was really funny.
I'm glad we're talking about me while I'm trying to think.
So at Ashley's birthday party, he gave her that little plant, that
Dabney.
succulent Dabney.
Yeah, Dabney.
That little. So he gave her the card too, and all it said was "Protect Dabney."
Protect Dabney. He's like, and you're like, I'm for sure that Dabney's like 4 green beans stuck in a pot.
That's gotta be what Dabney is. I've seen a lot of succulents. Like I was even looking the other day. I was like, are there like I've never seen a succulent like that. It's got like just because there aren't none. It's just green beans stuck in a pot. That's gotta
Oh,
be
you
what
got
it
me.
is.
I went to Lowe's, dried some green beans, and stuck them in dirt.
That's what it looks like. If any of you guys want to search up pictures of Dabney, the
It's
succulent,
not. Its name is Dabney. It is a yarn of life.
yarn of life. Protect Dabney, then yes, obviously yarn of life.
Here,
If we could-
come look at friggin'
Okay, hold on.
Google. I have images of yarns of life, and the same freaking pots. I bought them at Lowe's.
You're gonna hear voices in your head.
Right there.
Green beans. They're twisty. Oh, Schmitty hit the
I said cut this part. You're gonna hear voices in your head.
No, I can't cut any of it, Schmidt. That's the problem with the bear. Anyway,
I'm talking in post.
No, I'm not cutting any of it. I'm probably gonna cut part of it.
You cut the last one.
He's gonna cut all
I
the
did
sweet
edit some
digs
of the
about
last
him
one.
being in the air.
I'm absolutely not cutting
dig.
the sweet dig. Keep going about relevant things, and I'll jump in when I can
The
think about.
other thing Orvis did that was funny was
It's fine. Keep talking about how great and fantastic I am. I love it.
he spent 4 years getting a college degree and now can't get a job in the field.
You spent 4.5.
No. He may be the monkey boy, but I'm the real idiot.
You did spend 4.5 years on it, and you also needed less credit hours than I did.
Damn.
That's true. You didn't got to take gym though, so
I did not have to take a physics.
I did not. You had to take a phys ed
In college,
Yeah,
yes.
in college because
in college.
Because
I thought that was a thing.
Houghton isn't a real place. Houghton is high school too.
yeah,
Houghton isn't a. I've been there. It is a real place.
It's a real physical location. It's not a real college.
It's a physical.
It's high school again.
It's high school. Isn't that all college?
No.
Lots
Lots of other colleges
Some
are like,
college-
you're an adult now. You're gonna figure this out for yourself. Houghton's like, here's the kiddie pool. Get your water wings on. Let's swim a little bit until we decide randomly to hit him with a blowgun and pop the wings, and you just sink to the bottom because I haven't actually taught you how to swim.
Damn.
And in the meantime, you gotta take a phys ed.
And in the meantime, you gotta take off his hat.
So another person named Orvis did something that was really funny, and that was get their VCR certification.
You're back on this. Back on my dad's VCR certification.
Because that is probably the most potential, that has the most comedy potential, I think, of anything I've ever heard.
Weren't we talking about Infinity War?
Well, yeah, he's just gonna with your dad's VCR license, he's gonna use the time zone to rewind it all. But I was thinking, I was like, what? Can you get points on that license? Can you get points on his VCR
It's
license?
gone. My good, wonderful insight into why Thanos is broken is just gone. You've completely you've smashed it out of my head.
He's trying.
With your dad's VCR
You've
license.
taken a shovel and just clonked me so many times I don't remember.
Shovel Boy.
Rocket Boy versus the Shoveler.
We'll get there eventually.
So what else about this movie? Well, honestly, I was going to say, I actually thought the Thor storyline throughout that movie was actually really
Who
good.
do you think the main character is?
The
Thanos.
Avengers.
What?
Thanos.
Thanos?
Yeah,
Which is why
Thanos.
it doesn't fit. It's because by trying to make him, he's an antagonist, but because they're focusing so much on how he's developing, they're trying to make him like a tragic hero or an anti-hero, where it's like he isn't doing the right thing, but he thinks he's doing the right thing. So that's admirable somehow, and he's giving up things that he cares about for what he wants, but it's not doing so in a way that it's like, no, it doesn't matter what he's giving up, he's still absolutely insane. It's still trying to in some way say that you should care about what he's giving up. It's like, we don't, because clearly that's what I was gonna say. I would have loved it if he throws Gamora off the cliff and then nothing happens, because there actually isn't any love between him and his daughter.
Yeah, that would have
that's
been
actually-
interesting.
That's what I thought they were building up to.
Yeah.
That would have been fantastic. And they're like, nah, because Thanos is a person too. It's like,
Yeah.
I get that at some point he was, but when you're resigned yourself to kill half of existence, you're starting to move a little bit away from like in actual emotional intelligence.
I feel like he, after years and years and years of killing trillions of people, I'm sure he's killed. Billy, you think how many people do you think he's killed?
Trillions. Yes,
Trillions?
that's accurate.
Yeah.
He's destroyed
Okay.
planet after planet after planet, killing half the people.
So
If you're-
you think that he's killed trillions of people? You think after some time, like that voice in his head that's saying like I'm doing this for a good purpose starts to fade a little bit?
Well, it absolutely has to. It has to do it at the beginning, where he originally. I get the backstory for Thanos works. It's great that he came up with a bad idea that he didn't want to do, or that he didn't want to do, but he suspected. Well, maybe it's up in the air. It's whether or not he wanted to do it and is a complete psychopath. Or
actually, that's a good
was-
question. Did he want to do it back then on his own planet?
Well, that's the thing. If he wanted to do it, then there cannot be actual love between him and his daughter,
Yeah,
because
he
that
would have been
proves
a
that he has
complete-
so much of an emotional disconnect that he cannot.
It would prove that he's actually a psychopath.
Yes, it proves he's actually a psychopath and have issues emotionally connecting with people. Also, it's hard to psychoanalyze alien life forms, but we have to because they're being characterized as human. So
Yeah,
we have to- we have to do
I've
that.
thought about that for a long time. I'm like, I'm sure that like getting into
I
this
had a point.
conversation, psychoanalyzing aliens, obviously like never met one, but like
In a story written by humans, you have to assume everybody is going to operate like a human.
yeah, that's what I mean. Is that like you basically everybody acts like a human
Because
would.
they can only act within the bounds of what we understand humanity to be. I'm sorry, my nose is really clogged up. I'm about to.
No, you're good.
Oh, yeah, get that right in the mic.
I'm sorry, listening audience.
That's the sound of all our viewers turning off the podcast.
Fogel, they turned it off immediately.
They turned it off after more Neanderthal than most.
They turned it off after the opening said contains spoilers for Infinity War.
Yeah, they were like, oh really? Bye.
Bye.
pretty much.
That's the point, though. Don't listen to this if you haven't watched Infinity War. You're going to get nothing out of it.
Please.
Except good Neanderthal goof. Well, okay, good is kind of questionable. You're going to get Neanderthal goofs and a lot of weird snot noises in the microphone.
Our life in a nutshell.
Where the point or the jokes don't matter and it's all about the points. Wait, that was backwards. Where the points are everything and the jokes don't matter.
But no, actually, yeah. I actually thought I was laughing really hard when the Guardians of the Galaxy found Thor. And
Oh, yeah. No.
they're all like,
But that's part of the other complaint I've seen some people have for it, is that it's like every interaction seems fine. I guess that I didn't have any issue with like the way people interacted seemed reasonable. It didn't like everybody didn't show up and it's like, okay, I I get along with you because we're all good guys. It's like, no, there's definitely issues. Stephen Strange would absolutely hate Tony Stark.
Yeah,
makes
no, they
perfect
did a good
sense.
job at making that clash.
Yeah,
honestly.
it makes it very clear. They're both very
dominant
well.
personalities.
It makes sense because have you seen Doctor Strangelove?
Yes.
Okay. And I'm assuming Schmitty then too by the nod.
Like 3 times.
Like 3 times. Okay. Because he's very much Tony Stark before his accident. Like before he loses his hands, he's very much the same, like high life power star, golf master.
But I'm a surgeon.
But he's a surgeon. He's still like, he thinks he's incredible and the best. And then his whole film essentially is him learning that no, it's a humiliating film. It's just supposed to push him back down to like, yes, I have all this power now, but I'm not better than anybody else because I have to use it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Stark is the complete opposite.
Stark
is smacked down so
strange
many times.
Yeah.
And then just keeps sprouting back up because he's Tony Stark and he's always going to be okay.
Yeah.
And it's not that Tony doesn't grow. It's that Tony's growth doesn't change how he views himself. It changes how he views what he has to do to the rest of the world. They're both, and that's very, very different off of the same nut, essentially. The two halves of the same peanut. So, yeah, that's an expression. Really? It is now.
It is now.
2 peas in the same pod, right?
2 peas in the same nut. Because I'm not
2
dropping
bananas in the same bunch.
2 peas in the same nut.
2 peas in the same. I like that.
2 peas.
We're gonna do that.
2 peas in the same nut.
But no, like I actually think
Nut hair beard. That defines every issue I have with the Thanos design anyway, but I don't care so much about it now. The film made it a lot easier to think, but he still looks too much like Steve Austin to me. You
what
know?
was it when Tony Stark was like, all right, calm down there, Squidward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was really funny.
Yes.
No, but I thought the scene where they're making
Colorful
the
commentary
axe
there,
was
Fogel.
really cool.
Yeah, Peter Dinklage is
He's finally bigger than everybody else
Yeah,
around him.
Peter Dinklage finally got
I love you, Dinklebot.
Yeah,
You know I love you.
good actor.
no fantastic. Yeah.
Amazing.
Which does that bring us into the second thing?
It could. What are we at time? We're about 27. We're 28 minutes in. Yeah, we could jump to the other one.
Okay.
So the story of so you want to be an HBO actress, huh?
The episodes 1 and 2 of Game of Thrones season 1.
It only goes downhill.
That's not true.
That's not.
Well, depending on what you're talking about, yes. If we're talking about the overall quality of life for the characters, yeah, that takes a steady. Pew.
Yeah.
Is it steady or is it pretty dramatic?
It's steady at times, and sometimes it's dramatic. But
I'm gonna hold my tongue until I see more of that.
so as we're discussing this, I am the only one who has actually caught up on the series. I know you have seen,
I've had pretty much all of it spoiled to me because I don't care.
but you've never actually
No,
actually sat
I'm in
down
the
and
process
watched
of
it.
watching it.
And you've seen pretty much the entirety of the first season.
I've seen every episode of the first season besides the last episode, which I believe is the 10th episode.
Yeah,
but
there's
that
some
was
episodes
like
a season.
literally 4 years ago.
Yeah.
So I don't remember most of it.
Yeah.
So I'm basically going into this blind.
No, there's a lot of, once again, and just using Peter Dinklage as a segue here, he does a fantastic job in that show. He is an amazing actor in that show.
One of the only characters I care about.
Which is amazing how he did such a poor job in Pixels.
No, it's not amazing how he did such a poor job in Pixels. He was in Pixels. It's impossible to do a good job in Pixels.
I've never actually seen Pixels.
No,
Neither
don't.
have I. I'm never planning on seeing Pixels. In fact, I was kind of hoping we could get through the entirety of this podcast without ever having to talk about Pixels. It's a blemish on humanity.
Was that an Adam Sandler movie?
Yes.
Yeah, it wasn't Adam Sandler. It had Adam Sandler in it.
I don't remember
And
it.
Kevin James. Of course it's an Adam Sandler movie.
Kevin James. No, I remember when we were talking about it, you brought up something interesting and you're like, wow, there's a lot of naked people in this show.
Yeah.
And we were like, nudity can be used as sort of like, almost like an exclamation point when you're trying to make a visual point. I said the word point a lot there, didn't I?
I think I've made my point.
In that, so you see, for me, what I'm thinking of, not so much the scene, the scene where you actually first meet the character Tyrion Lannister, but like when there's a really, really like cringingly hard to watch scene of Daenerys, like, and her brother is like, let's look at your body, you're a woman now.
Yeah, let's not a completely non-creepy or predatory look over your body.
Yeah.
That was uncomfortable for me.
Yeah,
to
no,
watch.
that was
This is super not okay.
yeah. But obviously, well, I can't say that because you two don't know anything about it. I really want to talk about where these characters go, but we haven't gotten there yet.
Can't you can only talk about what has happened in episodes 1 and 2.
Yeah. We didn't see the wall. Oh yeah, there's the White Walkers. They showed up in the first episode.
Yeah,
And
they're
then
back apparently.
never again.
Well, not for a long time. They kind of show up in the first episode. Hey guys, we're a real relevant force in this series. We're gonna peace out for like 3 seasons, but don't worry, we're around.
We're around.
Be afraid.
There's a lot of interest, like in the book, which the way the series and the show are written, the book series written by George R. R. Martin is called.
Who's that?
The guy who wrote it.
Goof.
Oh,
Just
yeah.
absolutely lost.
Oh well, all right.
You can't win them all.
Don't worry, Arvis. Your joke's got about like a 60% hit ratio.
73%.
Like there's a lot of
That's
characters. Like the one guy who
Don't choke over there,
stop
buddy.
choking into the microphone.
I'll do what I want. Fuck the police.
There's George R. R. Martin wrote the book series A Song of Ice and Fire, and the first book in that series is called Game of Thrones. A Game of Thrones. The HBO series, the whole series is just called A Game of Thrones. And about every season is supposed to cover roughly what happens over the course of one of the books. Up until season 6, because after season 6 and 7 and season 8 are all written off book because they exceeded the point at which the books were written. And season 8 is going to be the final season. But like there's a lot of what's interesting to me is because there's some interesting characters who like Jory Cassell, who is Ned Stark's like right hand man, not the dude with the cool beard, which you made a comment on. I was like, that dude
That wasn't his beard. Those were his sideburns.
that he tied into a beard.
He just tied under there. Like, what? You can't grow facial hair, dude.
no, he can, just
Yeah,
not on his chin.
He just tied it down below.
All right, buddy.
I would absolutely consider doing that. But my beard's a little too curly.
Yeah. Like there's like more stuff explained about him in the books, but like it's explained through characters' internal monologues of interactions they've had with him in the past, and not things that specific character does per se. And so it's like, how do you get that into like the show?
You don't.
Well, yeah, and so that's why there's a lot of characters, and like one of the things is that in the first 2 episodes, like I said, you can actually see the moment when the Stockholm syndrome kicks in for Daenerys. Yep. There's a very clear moment where it's like, yep, this is where I belong now. Oops, I just killed all half of life in the universe. But it's like there's a significant like sort of internal monologue that Daenerys has with trying to accept what her life is and has become, and like she like doesn't want to live anymore. And then there's a subtle nod to what happens when she's kind of being taken by Drogo at one point, and she sees the dragon
How
eggs.
tactful.
What?
Keep going.
She sees the dragon eggs and her expression hardens a little bit, and that's sort of a nod to almost like a whole chapter of the book, where she like the view of the dragon eggs like sparks something inside of her to survive. And then she talks to the one slave girl, and she's like, yeah, I'm gonna teach you how to bone, and she learns how to bone. But as far as like the promise, and it's interesting because there's a lot of non-potential in these characters in the first 2 episodes that like but there is like little breadcrumbs. Like you see Arya doesn't want to do what she's told to do, and that develops her whole character arc for like this series.
I feel like Arya is the one that's gonna grow up to be like the non-feminine one. She wants to be like fighting and fun. Obviously, obviously, they paint the picture of, I do not want to be a pretty little girl who sits behind the castle. I want to be a knight and a soldier.
And Sansa, in stark contrast, is like, I'm going to marry the prince.
I want to marry the prince and live in a castle.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
And that leads to a lot of stuff for her. And you got John, who's like, man, I'm a bastard. I'm going to go join the Night's Watch. Night's Watch?
Let's
Yeah,
watch.
Night's Watch.
What's the girl's name again? The redhead one?
Sansa.
Sansa.
Is she sure she wants to marry that dude? Pretty sure
Schmidt. You're touching on everything that I dislike about watching that show.
It's just like you see him be who he is and then lie about everything that happened. You're like, no, I still really like him. Like, listen, we got to talk about some things, honey.
There's that very quickly changes. That's not something that's glossed over. Like I can tell you from seeing it, that's not something like that. It becomes not like, and it's not like she spends a lot of time things like, wow, he's actually kind of a jerk. Maybe I should. I don't know. She pretty quickly goes, this is, I'm in danger.
I'm in danger.
So that was good. Oh yeah, the very obvious that Jaime Lannister's just Prince Charming from Shrek 2.
Yes.
Actually, it's starking. It's
Careful. You just tripped over the second line connecting our two topics.
strikingly similar. How similar they look. I don't know. Just kill me, Schmitty.
4.5 years.
Do it.
Only took him 4.5 years. How many times did you fail Willa?
Willa writing. Oh, I didn't fail Willa at all.
Oh, good.
I barely passed that. It's
Barely passed it.
I barely passed a lot of things, honestly. I'm not a good student. It was genetics. It was genetics.
You weren't.
No.
You're not a student anymore, buddy.
Oh no, it
Got
was
your
a
degree.
No, it was not Willa. And it's the health class we had to take in college.
Oh jeez.
The like fitness for life.
We.
Oh, sorry, you didn't have to take it.
Nope.
And the reason I failed is because I just couldn't bring myself to care.
Yeah.
It was all stuff like, I'm not even kidding, it's like, eat your vegetables, take vitamins. I'm going to tell you how to do that for an hour and a half every other day. It was like, literally, it was like, take showers, exercise. And I was just like, I would wake up some mornings and go, what's the fucking point?
There isn't. They're trying to tell you how to put the water wings on.
You had to. I'm sorry. We're gonna talk about this.
Let's break it down.
You listen. I didn't go to real college.
No.
I went to a community
Did you ever go
college.
to college?
I tried a community college 3 times. Didn't work out.
Yeah, you're a bad student. Like,
you think Houghton was 13th grade?
13th grade.
Accurate.
No, it's
So
when we say it's high
you
school,
had to take
No, you
a
misunderstand.
class.
I'm sorry. It's not 13th grade. It's grade 9
again.
Second time.
I think you mean 9th grade.
No, grade 9 works too. 9th grade,
I mean,
grade
it
9.
does, yeah.
Are we in England?
Grade 9.1.
Yeah.
I can't say 9th.
With the patch updates.
With a patch.
Yeah, I can't say 9th.1.
We need a hot fix.
Well, pretty much the whole time. That whole institution needs a hot fix.
Question.
Yeah.
You had to take a health class.
He didn't. Everyone
Why-
else did.
why
'Cause he was a
didn't-
music major. And apparently music majors
Music major very
Music majors like
know enough about health.
because wow, that was a zinger. Let me just get my burn heal. Jeez. No, music majors didn't have to take health and phys ed because the requirement for us was like 30 credit hours higher than every other degree field.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah,
was-
music majors had a lot.
If you were a vocal pathology major at Houghton, you had 112 credit hour minimum to graduate.
How many credits did
What's
Kevin
vocal
take?
pathology?
It's like I'll tell you later.
What about that box of snakes at the wedding for the first episode of Game of Thrones?
That's right.
The box of snakes, and they were given the.
Like, oh, thanks.
Yeah, what am I gonna do with snakes? We're literally a nomadic people.
There's a good goof there somewhere.
A box of snakes.
You could eat them. Your snakes taste good.
I mean, you can eat anything.
You can't. You just should you. Snakes. I mean, if you're hungry, sure, why not?
Snakes.
Cook them up.
They got meat.
There was a goof I made and when we were watching, I can't remember what it was. Something about the box of snacks.
Man, your brain's really not doing well right now.
I'm really not good at the whole memory thing.
His little Neanderthal brain can't handle it anymore.
My little Neanderthal brain graduated college on time. Thanks
Dang.
With only 73% Neanderthal. But I'm enjoying Game of Thrones so far. I know it's only 2 episodes. I'm also enjoying the fact that they're like an actual hour long, you know, because it's not on regular TV. It's on HBO, so they're actually an hour long. Also, about the whole using sex for things, blah, blah, blah. Have either of you seen not Game of Thrones? I'm such
Schmitty, we watched Game of Thrones Thursday.
We watched 2 episodes of it yesterday.
Have you seen House of Cards?
No. I'm not watching that.
I don't blame you because they can't make it anymore because of the whole
Kevin Spacey
thing, and that has upset me beyond no end.
I know it
but
did. I think it's the best choice Netflix has ever made.
Probably.
I loved House of Cards. It's one of my favorite shows till then. But something always interesting that they did was you had to watch every sex scene
Because it was important.
It was always important, and it was one of the first shows that really I noticed that did that. And every single one of them, there weren't a ton of them, but there were some, and it was like I had to watch it because there was going to be some important plot point in there that I needed to know. Yeah, and I enjoy that.
The only show that I've ever seen, and I haven't watched Game of Thrones, the only show that I've ever seen that I thought every sex scene was significant, portrayed not only like something significant about the character, but pretty much always portrayed a significant aspect of character development, like emotional wise, was
Fairly
House.
Odd Parents.
Wrong movie, Orvis. Wrong movie.
Timmy is an average kid.
I feel you. I'm there with you.
Was
You
House.
know he'd be using wishes for more raunchy stuff.
Was he?
Like,
No,
a tricycle.
especially
Yeah,
because
he's
in
like,
the
what,
live
12?
action, in the live action movies,
He's
When
like
Drake Bell plays him.
when Drake Bell plays him, and like he gets to
said
keep his
movies.
fairies until he's 18.
I got a question.
Yeah.
Sure.
A lot of things in like medieval times and stuff like that, or whatever, that are based in like that kind of society. Do you think it was really easy to do things? Like what I mean, like if I wanted to,
No, because there weren't tools, Schmitty.
no, I mean not in that kind of sense. Like
me an example.
if I wanted to become a blacksmith, could I? Like at that time, like you see in like video games or movies or TV shows, like you walk into a blacksmith's house and be like, I want to be a blacksmith. Like, all right, come under my wing. Like, I understand that's not exactly how people work, but
It was much more complicated than that because usually.
but nowadays it's like I have to either go to college or I have to get a job like this, or and obviously things have changed.
Well,
but back then, do you think it was easier to?
if you didn't die of starvation, if you weren't cut down by nobility because you're in the way, if you weren't murdered in your sleep or had everything
a
stolen
fever or
from you,
diarrhea.
or were burned at the stake, or lots of any other way that you could possibly
or
die.
know what the stars look like, so they thought you were a witch.
Again, another deep cut back to Test Podcast 1.
I gotta make those jokes back to Test Podcast 1 every episode.
I am not a historical. I'm not a medieval historian, but I don't imagine that there'd be too much difficulty for you if as
It
long
was
as you
kind of
knew
either
the
you're
person.
a farmer, a soldier, or
It's basically you decided one thing you wanted to do and then you committed your life to do it because, yeah,
Fair enough.
you didn't like you didn't go to a college to get practice for it. You learned on the job for it, and that took years to do.
How hard become blacksmith?
That was,
English.
That was the best use of English I've ever heard.
the best.
How hard?
And I'm the one with the tiny Neanderthal brain. How best become blacksmith?
How to become blacksmith? 11 steps with pictures. Wiki how.
Yeah, that's modern blacksmithing.
Actually, modern.
Look at the dude picture on this dude. This dude.
Thanks,
the picture that
Wiki
came
how.
from Wiki how is very much clearly a dude like aroused by a picture of a blacksmith. I mean, they don't necessarily believe.
No, it's probably arousal from blacksmithing the art.
He just like back to the Jackson Pollock thing.
Actually, modern blacksmithing is really cool.
Yeah.
I would not
use iron
I
and
would,
stuff.
If I had the ability to get that kind of machinery and stuff like that, like the forge hammer and like an anvil and all that stuff, which costs a lot of money, I would
How much
completely.
can an anvil cost?
I don't know. That's a good question.
How much anvil cost? How?
Let's see. Let's
But
see what
like all that stuff must cost a lot of
shopping
money.
for anvils. A 4 1/4 inch rail anvil is $83.
Really?
I got
A 24
I got
pound.
Advil ibuprofen for $13.94.
Because you spelled anvil Advil. You dyslexic animal.
You savage animal idiot.
Oh no!
Oh god.
I said how much Advil cost?
Etsy has a blacksmith anvil full bottom Fuller Hardy tool for $25. So
The shipping's got to be a bitch on that though.
yeah, because it weighs 25 pounds, and that's not a big
Really, that's
anvil.
it?
It's not a big anvil. It's like that big.
Oh, I always felt like they'd be like how much for a big anvil?
I don't know. Google it yourself.
Probably weigh like I'm sure they weigh a couple 100 pounds.
You can get big anvils, yeah, but
Yeah.
I mean,
But to buy all this stuff, it would take
lots
a
of
lot of money and a lot of time, and you need a lot of space to do it. Which I definitely
Like
do
the
not
anvil
have.
they used in Infinity War to make Thor's axe.
That's slightly bigger
is-
than I was thinking about, but not much bigger.
I'll give you a 75% on that connection there, folks. That callback attempt.
And it's not like not like you need like a hammer. You just use Peter Dinklage's fists.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Which
which
stuff apart, which was awesome. It was just like dun, dun.
so how did he make those fake hands?
Probably just dunked his hand in the. I don't.
But the guy took his hands.
They weren't hands. They weren't articulated. They were just. He probably just dunked his hands and.
But he didn't have hands. Thanos took his hands.
Dunked whatever was not there.
Stumps.
Stumps.
No, but he had like stone hands.
He had like metal balls.
But they were clearly shaped
He
to be
didn't
like
use
hands.
fingers at all, though.
He didn't, but he still had to make the shape somehow.
He already had the shape made, and then he just beat it out of the mold.
Why did he have a shape of hand just lying around?
Listen to me. What I'm saying.
They
He
might-
didn't.
they-
Oh wait, no, because he made the glove for Thanos, so he could have had the mold for the hand lying around.
Theoretically, or
That all makes sense.
I'm almost
Okay, works
positive
out.
he just like stuck his bloody stumps on some molten metal, had it sealed up with the cauterization, and then just had 2 metal stumps floating around because he
Why
did
did he
not.
have to cauterize it? Thanos wasn't going to kill him.
Thanos probably wouldn't care about ripping his arms off and cauterizing it.
Also, why did Thanos do that?
Cut his hands off.
Yeah.
No reason, because he's evil. He's a bad guy, but he also has feelings. No, he suffers. He gives up his daughter for his dreams, but he's an evil bad guy who cuts off people's hands and then betrays their trust.
Also, yeah, he told them like, "Oh, I'm not gonna kill all of you if you just do what I tell you to do, and then I'm gonna still kill all you. Bye, guys."
Exactly.
And he said he didn't lie. So Thanos is a liar and a bad guy too?
It's like, it's surprising.
Well, at least
This
he has feelings.
this makes me really not care about any of his feelings more and more.
You shouldn't, which is why it's hilarious that they spend so much time trying to make you think about his feelings and care about his
Maybe
feelings.
he's just like dwarfist.
Maybe. I
Space. How did I make
have
the
you
show
just
go?
not made this connection? I literally leaned over to Schmitty when it happened. I'm like, it's the astral hammer,
Yes. It's the dwarves.
Oh my
the
gosh.
cosmic rage. That was
Dwarves
Aberdeen.
From Aberdeen. From their minds they will arise and fight. The rage of the dwarves is tonight. All right, let's not get sued by Glory Hammer. Although, actually, that would be wild if we got
If
sued
we
by
got
Glory
sued by Glory Hammer for singing one of their songs,
Okay with it.
this absolutely still falls under fair use. So they can.
You're not gonna get anything from me.
So
I'm
why
so
they didn't
grateful.
sue Marvel for the use of their actual dwarves?
I'm surprised it's not the other way, because I'm almost certain astral dwarves existed before Glory Hammer.
I hope so.
Well, that's because actual dwarves exist.
Nope, Glory Hammer invented the idea of astral dwarves. No one put dwarves and space,
together. I'll say no. See, that's the thing. Peter Dinklage is actually an astral dwarf who came down here to live amongst the people, and then they were going to make this movie, and Peter Dinklage was like, "Oh no, they found out my secret.
I am an astral dwarf.
I am an astral dwarf."
Glory
and
Hammer
then
got it right.
They were, and then Marvel, the something brothers. The
Russo
Skippy brothers, Russo brothers,
I
The
almost
Skippy
said brothers.
where like
Rickley
I don't know
brothers.
what you're talking about. Do you want the part? And Peter Dinklage was like, "Yeah, I'll take the part because you'll get it wrong. I'll show you what astral dwarves are really like." And then he quintupled in size.
Yeah, because he's an
That was actually there was no special effects there. That he just actually assumed his true form.
assumed his true form.
Yeah.
Yes.
What else else about Infinity War or the first 2 episodes of Game of Thrones?
You know, I'm not going to talk about things with Game of Thrones for a while until we get to a point where I feel like I've
Understood it enough.
ingested enough of it where I feel like comfortable of explaining my dissatisfaction with it. Because as we are now, 2 episodes in, 2 episodes is not nearly enough for me to talk about
Right.
it in a very general sense. So I'll give it some time. I gave Walking Dead 3 seasons.
Well, you liked it the whole time until they killed one character, and you're like, yeah, I don't like how they killed all the characters.
That's a different show.
Yeah,
It's a different topic and a different conversation for a different episode is what I mean. Because I could talk for about 4 minutes about, which isn't a lot of time because I don't actually have too much thought to give to Walking Dead, but...
well, then give it.
What?
Give your thought.
No, this is not an episode about... Then I put a spoiler warning for Walking Dead.
Fair enough.
I'm not doing that.
Does that fall under fair use of spoilers at this point? It's been out for so long. I mean, obviously not what just happened.
Is there
but-
such thing as fair use of spoilers?
I've heard this before, I think.
Can I spoil...
2001: A Space Odyssey. There's a space baby fetus at the end. Like,
Yeah.
Feel like if
Can I
you
spoil
really...
Empire?
Empire Stripes Back.
Empire Stripes? The Empire Stripes back. The Empire's striped back.
Just like the overheads in Home Depot. Striped.
You wish they were just striped.
That was
as
a
lows.
deep. That was a deep Home Depot cut right there. Oh, I think I found that spot where the echo happens in your room.
Yeah, I heard it. I it's probably just because of the fact that it's the 3 mics and they're all picking up a different latency. I just heard the echo of that clap, like disgusting. Just so.
You guys see that video of the balloon, the guy popping the balloon in the echo chamber, and it brought him speak words.
Talking about the guy who sent the Parmesan sticks to the garlic bread into
What
space.
are you talking about?
It was the guy who took a weather balloon and took a loaf
No.
of garlic bread and sent it up to space, and then when he came back down, he ate it.
I heard that.
No, there was a guy who popped a balloon in like an echo chamber, and then popped a balloon in like a muting chamber, so you could hear the difference, and it was
An
significant.
anechoic chamber.
Is that what they're called?
Yeah, the I'm almost positive it's an anechoic chamber.
Hey Siri, what room make noise stop?
Anachronic chamber. Anechoic chamber. Sorry, not croic. Anechoic chamber. And guess what, folks? Googling anechoic. Sorry, it's a
Yeah,
word.
it's not so easy speaking words.
I keep
is it?
wanting to put an R in there. I keep wanting to say anechoic. Anechoic chamber. The literal second Google response is popping a balloon in an anechoic chamber on YouTube.
Yeah, because it was a video that I saw on the internet.
Yeah, and I'm looking at it right here. I'm not watching it, but I see it.
I'm gonna get some mutton at the Renaissance
You're
Festival.
gonna get some mutton at the Renaissance Festival. Yeah. I might get some mutton at the Renaissance Festival.
I feel like it's gonna be a lot funner now that we can drink there.
Yeah, it'd probably be more fun if I actually liked beer, but I don't.
Where is it?
It's in Sterling.
Sterling.
Where's that?
It's mid-state.
Yeah, it's yeah.
It's between it's north of Corning, I'm pretty sure.
Have you ever been to a Renaissance Festival?
No.
It's literally like
It's pretty fun.
People go there and you can dress up like you're from the medieval times if you want. And like
It's
there's-
enough
there's
fun-
booths with like craftsmen and stuff, and they do shows.
Oh, that's cool.
It's enough fun, I think, for one day of experience. Why the hell we're going for 2 days, I don't know.
You guys are we're going for 2 days?
Oh yeah, we're going for a weekend. We're getting
really?
a hotel room and staying for a weekend.
Oh, really?
And I
Guys are going hard,
think
huh?
that is a tremendous waste of money. It's because my parents are organizing the whole thing and they don't want to spend the time to drive out there. It's like 3 hours to get there and then spend the whole day there and then drive 3 hours back afterwards. So they want to just get a hotel room and stay. And then that way we can experience the entirety of it. But the 2 times that I've gone to it, the end of the first day, I've pretty much done everything there I have any interest in doing.
Yeah.
So that just might be me, but
Well, then I feel
we'll
like
see
now
at
that
this
we're
point.
older and way more into ye olde fantasy times, we might
Exactly.
have a little more fun there.
Exactly. If we get into the fun type of fantasy, not the let's absolutely try to relive medieval times kind of fantasy.
Where they just give us all a diarrhea on the way in.
Yeah.
They give you a bag of diarrhea.
Welcome to the Renaissance Fair. Here's your parasite.
Yeah. It was like, hey, don't talk about my baby like that.
It's the Ray.
It was. I feel like it was much less of a fun time back then.
Oh, absolutely. It was less of a fun time. It was awful.
Most people died.
Yeah, but now we
Average
can
life
look back on it.
expectancy was like 32.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't. You didn't live to be very old because you kept dying.
Yeah.
And
Lots
die
Fever sucks.
Die don't mean get old much.
Yes. True Neanderthal brain here.
That's how I've been talking to you for years, Orvis.
I see. So you've been talking down to me.
Exactly.
That's what you mean. Well,
With your simple Neanderthal brain.
the simple Neanderthal brain that graduated college in 4 years
Dang.
with more credit hours and a higher
That's true.
GPA.
You've never written a scientific paper. What do you know? That's actually not true. You had to write it. You had to write your forms and analysis paper.
That wasn't necessarily scientific, but it was definitely more complicated.
Yeah.
I almost promise you the complexity of that was more than your leaf papers.
Here's a question for you.
Go for it.
Are female ducks ducks?
Are they not?
If you just called them
supposed-
female ducks, then yeah, they're ducks.
Why is that even a question?
Is a duck, guys?
Is a duck? Only when it wants to be a duck.
Like, oh, okay. Now, because a mallard, a male mallard,
gonna start
is
a
called
sentence here?
a drake.
Uh-huh.
Is a female mallard a duck?
I am not the
Answer in the
bio-
comments, please.
I am not a biology major. You are.
It was. I guess. No, yeah, it was. I graduated. Barely. So
okay.
I was at work the other day, and it was actually the first day I was on day shift. I finally got to day shift, and it was super early in the morning. The store just opened. It was not even like 6:30 yet. So I'm walking, and I see this guy in like old guy, like what you imagine when you think of sort of like a cowboy almost, but like just didn't really have the hat, like the gray mustache, the sort of weathered face, the blue jeans, like the plaid shirt with like a denim jacket, right? Walking through the greenhouse, and the only thing he has in his hand is a single packet of lettuce seeds. And I immediately thought, why do you need one packet of lettuce seeds at 6 a.m.?
Maybe he
All
really
right.
likes. I mean, okay.
Because he wants to grow lettuce.
He's an old guy who wakes up early and wants to grow lettuce. There,
So he went to the store and he bought lettuce.
Is there
But
something
he's,
else?
but he's
weird
not
that he
sure
does?
if he's got the right ground consistency to correctly grow lettuce. There's an actual science term for it. I don't know.
Consistency.
You know what I'm talking about.
My soil's too chunky for
Yeah, my soil is too chunky. You know exactly what I mean, though. It's not the correct hydration, not the correct nitrogen
chemistry levels?
Yeah, something. There's
Soil
another
chemistry, pH.
There's other things. Maybe you don't know the term. Maybe your 4.5 years didn't teach you this term.
Dang. Shut up, monkey boy.
It's not. Again, that doesn't work because Neanderthals aren't apes. Actually, they are apes.
They are apes. What are you talking
We're
about?
all apes, but not monkeys.
No, I guess I'm not. Yeah.
I'm a monkey.
I'm a scientist.
I'm a scientist.
Thank you for catching that. All right, we're done.